Terrifier 3 serve up some fresh and festive kills? Welcome Cinema, where we focus on the film. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know in the comments below, have you seen Terrifier 3? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Or is it somewhere right in the middle? How does it compare to others? Make sure to like this video if you enjoy. Subscribe if you wish, if you find it beneficial, and you can join in the film culture community where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. And getting right into the synopsis. 5 years after Halloween Massacre, Jonathan and Sienna are trying to get past their past trauma, but they're beginning to realize that no holiday is safe with Art the Clown. And getting right into the positive, I first like to start off by saying I'm not a huge fan of the previous Terrifier movies, All Hallows Eve, what we're getting out of that, but I was genuinely surprised what we got out of this. It's not the most flamboyant, the most smart film, but that's not necessarily what I expected going into any of these, and the way this told about its festive story was fun. The festive horror genre isn't necessarily a thing that I lean into and expect something a lot out of it, but this managed to go about its slasher vibes and tell its story with a little bit more depth. Some stories that got deeper into the narrative, deeper into the characters this time around. What we got of Sienna especially, we didn't get as much Jonathan. He's sort of set to the side a little, but he's still a vital part of the story moving forward, what we're getting out of him. And also, since it's 5 years later, we got certain incidents, what we're going about doing, where Sienna is ending up, how Jonathan is in college right now, and we're getting new characters. Gabby is the niece, and also Gabby's parents as well, how we're following about their story, and of course these other characters along the way that aren't important necessarily to the lives of Sienna, how it's impacted as a whole, but it's there to serve the fresh kills and being able to have fun with the festivity that's going about along the way. It has some of the nicest and cleanest kills that I just really enjoyed out of this film from the rest of the franchise, that manages to craft some great practical effects that Damien Leone just really serves up well. And just what we get out Art the Clown, he's creepy as ever and manages to really bring about this fun vibe and still give off that silent treatment, the way he just becomes a mime to the whole situation, and still being able to act super well by the expressions, being able to sell the creepy character, the scary nature of what you're not wanting to mess with at all. And so that just really fits the mood, the tone of the story, manages to craft with the good camera work, the smoothness to the story. You're getting a little bit more budget to this, and I'm just really appreciating what we're getting out of this story. It's an idea that is executed better than I would have expected for just what we're getting out of it. And of course, part of that is due to how we're deepening the lives of the characters, which was my biggest gripe with some of the past character or films, and just what we're getting out of Sienna, how we're diving a little bit more into her father, touching a little bit more on the lore of Art the Clown and the little girl that's also with him, and the kills that come along with this is just crazy good. It's not for the faint of heart, and just manages to get its bloodiest throughout the whole film. Just having some great scenes, especially the bar scene when they're talking with Santa in the bar. Art the Clown shows up, and I just love the whole scene throughout, the whole sequence that really takes Art the Clown and makes him into the Santa Claus that you sort of see on the posters or may have seen in the trailers. I haven't seen that. So what we're getting out of that just molds itself into something that's fantastic. Surprised me because of how I wasn't as much of a fan of some of the past films, but this one got me a little bit more into the groove and still into the Christmas spirit that this film was jiving on, while still being the slasher film that I feel it deserves to be at the end. And getting into the mixed elements, there's still some beats of the narrative that isn't consistently straight. It has some beats that are off by the margin of what you're getting onto. It doesn't have some complex storytelling, which I don't always expect, but it doesn't have too many horror cliches, and even if it does land on those, it feels like it earns its place because it still manages to be a slasher film that is really extra on the blood, on the gore, and really almost mocks a sense of how cheap some other horror films can be for the way that builds upon it. And as this franchise gets a broader fan base, the films will continue to come out. So whether you're really a big fan of them or not, they're likely to get another one at the very least, because it does have a lead up to what could be coming in the future as long as things go about. It's not too much of a tease that really hints at if it's another festive or another holiday they're tackling, or if it's a summer thing, but in general, this is a film that really manages to step on its own grounds. And getting right into the negatives, there's still those flaws here and there. Someone's hand gets injured really brutally, and then in the next moment, that character is able to wield a weapon and be able to still go on with a certain fight against Art the Clown that I'm not spoiling specific details on purpose, for the purpose of your enjoyment, but that goes about certain things that the consistency of how we're trying to manage our characters makes sense with the writing, makes sense with the logic of the story. And well, yes, we're talking about this fantasy creature boogeyman that can't really die based on who Art the Clown is, based on his lore in general. But there's still flaws in the logic of the story, certain aspects where humans should go about doing this different thing, die quicker, or certain ways that they're going about it, that those moments of flaws still stand out. They could do less on the gore or less on specific moments that limits a character's ability to do something, and yet it proceeds to allow that character to do things they shouldn't be able to do or shouldn't make sense of what is going on in this situation. So that's just my review for Terrifier 3, which I have to rate as simply 7 out of 10. Let me know all your thoughts on Terrifier 3. Is it good? Is it bad? Or somewhere right in the middle? Make sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already to join in film culture community where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. So that's just all, and make sure to do yourself a favor and go watch a movie.